Hello everyone, my name is Trent and I'm here with the AmeriCorps program for GMCG. I'm this year's Water Quality Resources Assistant, and today on Experimentation Station, we're going to be learning how to make Casein plastic. So if you have milk, which is one of our materials, it has two main products, whey and casein, and we're going to actually be separating the casein out from the whey and forming it into a solid. So the materials you'll need for today's study include some coffee filters here. So eventually we're going to use these to strain the casein solid out. So we actually have a metal strainer here too that we're using in the sink, but you don't necessarily need that. You just need the coffee filters so that you can have a location for the casein to set. You're going to need something like vinegar or something acidic to be able to add to the milk because that will lower the pH. You also obviously need the milk, and you need like a stovetop or a microwave. We have both here, but we're going to use the stovetop depending on the volume of milk you're using, just to warm the milk, because the experiment works a lot better if the milk is warm. And then we also have here some cookie cutters, so at the end when our casein is solidified, we can make ornaments out of it, and you can make different products. It's actually a biodegradable plastic. Okay, so we have our milk all warmed. It took about a couple minutes on the stovetop. Just you want it to get it so it's warm. It doesn't have to be super hot. We were just going till we saw steam, and that's good enough. So we have our milk ready over here, and we're going to add some vinegar to it now, and we'll add until we kind of see the solids forming. We're going to take it over here. Here, you can take a look actually again there. You can see how the materials have separated out. You have the liquid material of the milk still, but then you also have very clearly here this casein solid. So we're going to take it over to our strainer. Pour it in slowly because we're using coffee filter. Okay, so we have our casein in the coffee filter, and you just want to get it as dry as you can. So you see I kind of pulled the coffee filters out and just wringing it out a little bit. It just makes it a lot easier if you're able to take the casein that is dry as opposed to one that is still wet. So let the coffee filter it a little bit, and then you can also do a little bit of that manually. So here's what it looks like. Right? Kind of smells gross, but that's okay. We're going to pull it out here and just set it down the parchment paper. And this is our casein here that we can actually use to make different materials out of. So like we said earlier, we're making Christmas ornaments, but you can use this to make really any figurine, a cube, a dice, anything you might want to make out of it. So that's going to be what we do next, and we look forward to it. Okay, so we now have our casein here. We've, like I said, drained it, dried it more. We've actually kneaded it so it's a little bit more dough-like and sticks together better, and it's pretty dry. And now here's the fun part. This is where you get to have fun with it. You can make whatever you might want to out of it. We have Christmas cookie cutter here, so we're going to use this. And as you can see, you can pretty much make anything out of this that you would want to. So this is beautiful. And we still have more of it here that we can use. And after you do make a shape, basically you're just going to want it to dry for 24 to 48 hours, just sitting somewhere and let it harden over time. And that's really all it will take, and then you'll have your final product. Hello everyone, so we're back 24 hours later now, and we have our casein plastic. You can see some of it here. We're actually going to let it sit for probably another 24 hours or so. But we have some really cool designs here that we made, and you at home can make whatever you want, use any cookie cutters or anything you really want to do. We actually poked some holes in these to make ornaments out of them because of the holiday season. So what actually happened? How did we make this solid form of plastic out of milk and vinegar? So this is what in chemistry is known as a precipitation reaction. So what happened is we combined two solutions, and when combined together, an insoluble material, which was in this case the casein plastic, would precipitate out of them and form that solid substance. So the vinegar being added to the milk actually lowered the pH of the solution as a whole and caused that reaction to occur, which is something that can occur with a lot of different things as well. Another thing to note scientifically is that we ended up creating a polymer out of this. Plastics as we know them, are made of polymers, which are complex chains of different molecules put together. We made a polymer known as casein, which is one of the materials that is in milk. And so we were able to make that actually as a solid. So polymers are really interesting. They can bend, they're very flexible. They can do a lot of different things, which is why they're so commonly used in plastics. But what's good about casein is that hopefully this is supposed to be a much more biodegradable form of plastic material than the plastics that we see today, which are very often more petroleum-based plastics that use oil and different things like that in their makeup. So this should be a biodegradable substance, which is really good.